Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
Have you been waiting to purchase a home until interest rates have come down? Well, guess what? They have come down. They are falling. We are at a great place today. If you took advantage of this program today and you also combined it with a 2-1 buy down, your interest rate year one would be at 3.5%, year two, 4.5%, and year three and remaining 27 years would be at 5.5%. This is a great opportunity to buy a home now before interest rates have fallen even further. And now you've got to compete with those other people that are out looking at homes. Get out there, start looking at property, and take advantage. Give us a call so that we can help you get things started. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. All right, so welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom. And today we are going to be talking about mortgage fraud. We don't want to do fraud. We want to make sure that you guys are being open and honest with your loan officer. It is the most important thing that you can possibly do. You also do not want to get into any trouble. So we are going to talk about that today. It's not a topic that I've ever brought up before, but I do believe it is something that is important for you guys to be aware of. One thing that I can say real quick is you guys can see my hat. I am sporting it. It says sunsets and cocktails. Don't we all love that? So this is actually a hat that my son created. He has a website called River Moms. So it's rvrmoms.com. And he's got all kinds of great boating apparel. So I thought, why not give him a plug and go ahead and put the hat on for today's show. So as you can see, it's actually super cute, totally embroidered, really a nice hat. And he's got tons of other designs, all very funny boating apparel, which is fabulous. So if you guys like to go boating, you like to go to the ocean, really any outdoorsy activities, check out his River Moms website, which is rvrmoms.com. So once again, today we are going to be talking about mortgage fraud because I don't want anybody to get into any kind of trouble. And you want to be very careful with what you are doing and what you are saying. You need to make sure that you are supplying us with true documentation. So if we talk with you and we say, hey, we need XYZ, send us XYZ. If you don't, then, we can't help you. So the first rule of thumb is make sure that you are open and honest with your loan officer about everything that you are doing, where you are going, what you are trying to purchase, where you're trying to purchase, how is that going to change your job? Is your job going to change? Is your income going to remain the same? Are you self-employed? Do you write a lot off on the tax returns? Remember that in today's day of technology, there is truly nothing that you are going to be getting, that you are going to be able to get past us, that we are not going to be able to see, recognize, or know is not necessarily correct or true paperwork. So you want to make sure that you are being very upfront and honest with your loan officer about what your plans are. That is one of the most important things because your loan officer is going to work with you based on what your plans are. So make sure that you are being open and honest. With that, I'm going to keep going, give you guys a couple of different pointers to make sure that you are prepared and doing your paperwork correctly. But we're going to take a super quick break and we'll be right back. Are you in debt? Have you already pulled a home equity line of credit and now those credit cards are charged up again? Don't feel bad. There are many people in your same position. It's been a really rough couple of years, but don't fret. Interest rates are starting to come down, and you have the opportunity to do a refinance to get everything rolled up into one new loan payment. Give us a call. Let's take a look. Let's see what you owe. Let's calculate what those interest rates are on all of those balances, and let's see if we can't get you into a better financial position. Let's get that cash flow under control. Give us a call. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Or head on over to our website at mortgagemomradio.com. Okay, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom. And today we are talking about mortgage fraud. So as I said right before the break, it is very important that you guys are being open and honest with us about everything that you're planning to do. Please do not submit paperwork that is not real. It will get caught and you will get in trouble. And mortgage fraud is a big thing. And you can get into very big trouble for mortgage fraud. So we do not want to do that. Some of the things that can be considered mortgage fraud, which you would not necessarily understand or think, could be something as simple as saying that you are going to live somewhere. So occupancy fraud, if you don't actually plan to live there. One of the backfires that can happen is that, let's just say, for example, you tell us that you plan to live in the property as your primary residence. Every single mortgage lender has the right, after the loan has closed, to actually do a check-in. They could knock on the door to see if you are truly occupying that property. If they get there and you are not, and you've got tenants or renters in the property, they could actually call the note due. You would have 30 days to get your note paid off in full, or they can foreclose on the home. So you do want to make sure, again, that you are truly talking with your loan officer about what your plans are, what are you doing, what is your income. We need to know so that we can help to guide you in the right direction. So maybe you're planning to buy the property because it's going to be a vacation home for you. You're going to utilize it for your family. But you'd also like to rent it out when you're not utilizing it, because why not? The property's just sitting there. That doesn't necessarily mean that we need to call that property an investment. We could call that property a second home or a vacation property. You are allowed to call it a second home or vacation property as long as you plan to occupy that property for a minimum of 14 days per calendar year. So the other part of that calendar year, if you were doing short-term Airbnb rentals, you'd be okay. But that we've got to set that loan up the correct way. We don't want to call that an owner-occupied property and then you don't plan on living in it. That could set you up to fail. Could also set you up to fail if you're just trying to say it's going to be an owner-occupied property, even though it is not, because you're trying to get a better interest rate on the deal, or you're trying to get into the property with less money down. Those things don't happen as well. That's going to get you into big trouble. So you've got to be open and honest with us. I could see that Why Not jumped on and said, hi, everyone. Why Not? Thank you so much for joining. I did not send out a text message today. Again, I'm trying so hard to not bombard everybody. We all get enough spam as it is. So about once a month, I think moving forward, I'm going to send out a big text message that says that I'm live. But if you guys are subscribing to the channel, you will know immediately when I go live, because YouTube should be pushing out that information that the show is on and that we are live. So make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. So today we are talking mortgage fraud. I want to make sure that nobody gets into trouble. And it is a topic that I have never brought up before. So I do want to make sure that we touch on it. It is something that is happening. People are doing it. They're getting desperate, to try to purchase homes. We are seeing that come across our desk, and we're having to make sure that we stop those applications and don't let them proceed, because they can turn into a big problem for you. Heather did jump on. She says, hi, everyone. So Heather, thanks so much for joining as well. And if you guys are just getting in late, I'm going to explain to you why I am in the hat and pigtails today. This is my son Mikey's company. He has created a website called River Moms. So it is rvrmoms.com. com. So he is going with the mom theme, just like I do. And he has made all kinds of great boating apparel for anybody that likes to go boating, whether you guys are going on the lake, you're going on the river, or you're going out into the ocean. If you like to do anything outdoorsy, there's tons of cute t-shirts and hats that you guys can check out on the website. And that is my son's company. So I figured, why not give him a little plug today? So I'm wearing the Sunsets and Cocktails hat. I thought that it was super cute, the trucker hat. And so I thought I would show it off and try to give him a little plug. So back to mortgage fraud. So we've talked about occupancy fraud. That can be a big, big thing. You guys could get your mortgage actually called due if they go out and they do a checkup. And yes, some lenders do that. It is very, very possible. So you want to make sure that you don't end up in that situation. So you want to be honest about your occupancy. Number two, another big thing is that people will try to number three, people will try to submit fake documentation. Guys, I'm going to tell you once again, I mentioned it at the very beginning of the show. It is not possible to give us fake documents. It just isn't. Don't think that you can alter W-2s or pay stubs or tax returns. We verify everything. Something as simple as a letter that you might provide to us that we've requested from your HR to determine that you're making a transfer maybe to a new location, or that your pay has been increased, or whatever that it might be that we might be trying to solidify that we can't find in the pay stubs or the W-2s or tax returns. We may ask you to get us a letter from your HR. Do not change that letter. We verify everything. We absolutely have to. After the big mortgage crash that we had in, 07, 08, 09, 2010, and somebody's going to pop on here and argue with me about she doesn't even know what the dates were. Let me tell you, I've been doing this for a really long time. I started in 96. It wasn't necessarily 07 that they said that everything started, but me being in the industry, we were already starting to see those properties going negative. They weren't making payments. They were going into pre-foreclosure in 07. In 08, those foreclosures started to come down like wildfire. 09, they continued. 2010, we started to recover. Interest rates came down. People were able to start possibly doing refinances because Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac brought out some great mortgage products that would allow you to be able to refinance, to drop the interest rate, save on your monthly payment, even though you had lost so much value in your home that your mortgage was upside down. You owed more on the house than what it was worth. That all happened. It started late 06, but it really started to gain in 07, hit like wildfire in 08, continued through 09, and 2010, things were starting to recover. So that's why I always give you guys that big spread of time. But during that time, during all of those foreclosures, is when they started to pick up on all of the mortgage fraud that had happened. And a lot of people didn't know that they were doing mortgage fraud, from the buyer that was purchasing the home stated income and saying that they made $20,000 a month to qualify for the loan that they didn't earn, to the loan officer seeing that there was $20,000 on the application for the guy whose position probably didn't earn that income, just turning their head and saying, well, that's what they said, and the system isn't asking us for any documents. So from that time frame, from that period of time, that Great Recession that they call it, that is when the CFPB came in and started creating all of these rules around doing mortgages. And mortgage fraud is a huge, huge topic every single year when we renew our licenses, with all of the training that we have to do. And the mortgage companies are being held responsible to make sure that they are confirming, verifying, and documenting that the paperwork that is in the file is true and accurate. So you just want to make sure that you are open and honest, and that you are letting us know exactly what your position is. What is your situation? Where are you going? What is happening with your income? Are you changing jobs? Are you purchasing 90 miles away from where you work? So your actual goal would be to buy the home with the job you have. And then when you get there, go and find a new job. You've got to have that conversation with us so that we can make sure that we are setting you up not to fail and to not get into any kind of trouble. So Why Not asks, is there particular information that needs to be stated if you plan to live at the property, but also have a business you run from home? So no, there's a lot of people that are They work from home. They run their business out of their home. There are a lot of people that do that. When you do your application, we can see that you are self-employed. We can see the address on your tax return that is the same address as where you reside. So we're very aware that you're running a business from your home. That is absolutely not a big deal at all. It is probably something that will come up because even when you are self-employed, we have to verify with your CPA or your tax preparer that how long you've been self-employed for, how many years, and where you do run your business. And so we are verifying information from you. So that wouldn't be something that would be a big, huge issue as far as occupancy, right? The occupancy means you plan to live there. You are buying this home to live in it, or you are buying this home to vacation in it. You are buying this home to rent it. It is an investment property. So occupancy is probably the number one biggest mortgage fraud that happens in today's day and age. We don't see much in the terms of paperwork, again, because we can verify with so many things, where if you give us a W-2, we are ordering from the IRS a tax transcript that will match the numbers on your W-2 form that you provide. That tax transcript is going to come in at that exact same number because it was also reported to the IRS. If you give us tax returns and we are verifying rental income that you're receiving from an investment property that you might own, on that tax transcript that comes back, it's going to show us that same breakdown, and it should be the same as what we see on your return to your tax transcript. So if you give us a letter from your HR advisor, we are going to call the HR person. The processor for your loan will call, not your loan officer, not me, the processor, the third party person who is the neutral party working between the loan underwriter and the loan officer, the loan originator. So your processor is going to call and they are going to verify that that is a true and correct document, that was, given to us and written by that HR person, that HR representative. So you just want to make sure, guys, that you are giving us everything that is true, accurate, and honest. And if you have plans to buy a home in another state and you want to purchase it while you are living in the state that you're in and you're working the job that you're working, and your plan is to get there, get settled, get into the home, and then go find a new job, don't tell us that your employer is allowing you to work remote. We're going to confirm it. And there are good likely chances that, if you, okay, so let me back up. The investors can also double check after the loan is closed that your job where you said you were going to continue to work is still your job. So if you say you're going to work there and you're going to continue to work there because you want to relocate 90 miles, you want to relocate 2,000 miles. If you say you are going to continue to live there and you don't, work there and live where you are purchasing, and you quit that job very, very quickly after that loan closes, again, that could be considered mortgage fraud and your note could be called due. You could be paying that loan back. So the whole moral of the story is be honest with your loan officer, give as much information as you possibly can to them, tell them exactly what your plans are, and set your loan up for success. Do not set your loan up for failure. Even if you think that you succeeded, you got the loan closed, it funded, you got keys in your hand, you could still be setting yourself up to fail in the near future from there. So just make sure you guys are honest and giving everything accurately and talking to the loan officer and letting us set that up for you. So with that, again, super quick show. I'm just coming on each week to bring you guys some new information. Next week, we are going to get a little bit political, not super political. I'm not going to go into who you should be voting for. But I do want to make sure that we start talking about what got us into the situation that we are in today. Where did it start? Where did it begin? Because a lot of people, feel that things actually started once the current administration that is in office right now took over. When in reality, things actually started way, way, way earlier than that. And they have been slowly snowballing and they've been slowly kicking the can to get us into the situation that we are currently in. So, I don't want anybody disappointed. Everybody's going out to the polls. Everybody's going to vote for who they believe is going to be the best person for our country, for our economy, for personal reasons, for Roe versus Wade, whatever that it might be that you feel is the biggest reason behind why you might select one candidate over the other. But I want to bring to light from a mortgage person's perspective where the issue started, when it started, and then what my personal opinion is of how long that it's going to take us to get out of the situation that we are in. That is going to be a really big show next week. It may ruffle some feathers, but I do want you guys all to tune in and to watch, because again, as a mortgage person, watching what was happening throughout all of the different years, and we're going to go back to 2017, because I think that takes us all the way back far enough. So we're going to go back to 2017. We're going to talk about where was the economy, where were interest rates at that time, how were we performing, how were things going, where were home values. We hit 2020, we hit COVID. What were some of the things that administration did that started to snowball us into issues? Then we're going to talk about what happened in the current administration when they took over that snowballed us into even bigger issues and took us basically from Scud missiles to nuclear warheads with our inflation and issues. So we're going to talk about all of that. And then we're going to talk about how long do I foresee that it's going to take to get us out of that rut? Because that's another thing too. It doesn't matter who you vote for. If the guy or the girl that you vote for, who you think is going to be best, for this economy, best for our grocery prices, best for our car prices, best for, our credit card balances and interest rates. If the person that you feel is the best person to get into office gets in, and a year from now, things don't just automatically change. Things don't just automatically get better at the gas pump. Your grocery bill doesn't just automatically get better because this person got into office. We're going to talk about why. When it takes 6 or 7 years to create disaster, and sometimes even longer, which I could actually probably go all the way back to Obama, but I'm not going to go that far back. But when it takes that long for things to get out of hand, it's going to take time to get things back in place, to get things back to recovery. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it from the mortgage side. I'm not going to talk about it about political side, but we're going to talk about what I saw happening from the Fed, I think, making some drastic problems, to Trump definitely being a hand in it, to mortgage servicers being a problem in the situation, consumers being a problem in the situation, to the current administration blowing it up even further. So I think that there's a lot of problems on every single side. I think that you vote for who you feel is going to be best. That is not what the show is going to be about, but I'm going to give you a mortgage history lesson from somebody who's lived it, watched it, saw what was happening. I'm going to bring you guys all up to speed on that. So it should be a good one. Make sure you tune in. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel. If you guys like today's show, give me a big thumbs up. I am trying to bring you guys all kinds of new and different information every single week about all things mortgage and real estate. So with that, I can see Rochelle jumps on. Rochelle, so good to see you on. And thank you for you and your husband giving me a call. It was so nice to speak with you guys last week. And I do want to invite everybody, if you have questions, if you need to know what the best thing is to do, we're going to get to the bottom of it together and we're going to decide if it makes sense or not. So give me a call. The office number is 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Talk to you guys all real soon. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.